They'll tell you life is about luck, that it's the system, that it's bad timing, that it's just how things are. But let me give you a truth they won't say out loud. You are not stuck because of what's happened to you. You are stuck because of what you keep choosing. Most people don't even realize that they're making decisions every single moment. They think decisions are the big, dramatic crossroads in life. The job offer, the breakup, the relocation. But that's not where your life is shaped. No. Your life is shaped in the shadows, in the quiet moments, the invisible ones. When you hit snooze instead of rising, when you scroll instead of reading, when you retreat instead of facing your fear. These aren't little things, they are patterns. And patterns are prophecies in motion. Every decision you make is a contract with the future. It says, I commit to this reality. And most people, are signing contracts they never read. They hand over their focus to chaos. They lease their time to distractions. They mortgage their energy to people and places that never pay them back. Then they wake up confused when their life is bankrupt to purpose. But let's dig deeper. Because this is not just about self-help fluff. This is about becoming dangerously conscious. It's about pulling back the curtain and facing the harsh light of truth. The truth is, your life is a system. Every input you offer, every thought, every word, every action has an output. And if the output is failure, pain, exhaustion, depression, you must have the courage to reverse engineer it, to trace it back, to ask yourself, what decision planted this seed? What lie did I tell myself when I made it? Was it just this once? Was it, I don't feel like it today? Was it, this isn't a big deal? Lies. All of them. Because every action is a vote for who you become. Every compromise becomes a brick in the prison you're building for yourself. Every delay is a debt. And life always collects. The energy ledger. Start there. If your energy is your most valuable currency, how are you spending it? Track it. Not once. Not just on Sundays when you feel guilty. Every day. Every hour. You say you're tired? Where is your energy going? To arguments that never end? To people who drain you but never grow you? To goals that sound good but aren't yours? To habits that numb instead of heal? You cannot plead ignorance anymore, because your reality is data, and data doesn't lie. It reflects you with brutal honesty, the weight you carry, the bank account balance, the quality of your relationships, the state of your health, the stillness or chaos of your mind. This is not fate. This is feedback. But most people can't stomach feedback. They run from the mirror. They curse the world. They drown in denial because it's easier to blame the storm than admit you've been the one steering toward it. Do you want to be different? Then analyze your loops. What keeps happening in your life? Same heartbreak, same betrayal, same failed ventures, same addictions, masked as escapes. Until you track it, you can't transform it. Until you measure it, you can't master it. Until you face it, you can't fix it. This is the code of warriors. We don't fantasize about destiny. We create it, brick by brick, decision by decision. And we inspect the results like generals at war. You think war is only about enemies outside? No. The most lethal war is within. Against your own impulses, your own emotional laziness, your own refusal to adapt. It's not enough to want better. You must demand better from yourself, ruthlessly. And that means auditing everything, every commitment, every hour, every belief, because you are not stuck. You are in a pattern, and patterns have codes. Codes can be cracked, but only by those who refuse to numb themselves with hope and dare instead to wake up. You want freedom? It starts with awareness. You must become a watcher of your own life. Track the cause, predict the effect, then alter the cause until the effect bends. Because you cannot afford unconscious decisions anymore. Not if you want to rise. Not if you want to build a life that feels like peace instead of performance. Not if you want your name to mean something when you leave this world. So here is your map. Begin by collecting the data of your days. Where is your time going? Who is stealing it? What are you trading your soul for that only brings regret? Monitor your reactions. What triggers you? What seduces you? What distracts you? These are access points. Fortify them. Analyze your results, not your intentions. Your results. What did your last 30 days produce? What did your habits actually build? Cut the rot. Brutally. Remove people, places, platforms, and behaviors that steal more than they give. No apologies. No explanations. Recommit to conscious choice. Make decisions from a place of alignment, not impulse. From your vision, not your void. You must become the architect of your future, not the inmate of your past. And here's the final truth. Life will not adjust for your feelings. The world does not pause because you're confused. Reality keeps moving, either with you or without you. So rise, take the reins, study the outcomes, track the cost, and choose better. Because this is not just about productivity or progress. This is about ownership, about reclaiming the sacred power of your decision-making, about making sure that every drop of energy you spend echoes forward with meaning. Because if you don't rule your decisions will rule you. Lesson 1. Track your patterns with ruthless honesty. You can't change what you refuse to confront. The purpose. Before you can shift your life into high gear, before you can take command of your outcomes, you must first stare straight into the mirror of your reality, with no filters, no excuses, no apologies. This lesson is not about motivation, it's about awareness. Because until you track your behaviors, your decisions, and your energy, you're just guessing at why you feel stuck. And guesswork leads to stagnation. Most people don't live intentionally. They exist. They float from one urge to the next, hoping that someday the results will magically shift. They never realize that their repeated frustrations are not curses. They're symptoms. And symptoms always point to a deeper pattern. This lesson forces you to uncover the root. The assignment. Conduct a 7-day energy and pattern audit. For the next 7 days, you stop drifting. You become a scientist in the lab of your own life. Every action you take, every choice you make, every hour that passes, you document it. Not to shame yourself, but to see yourself. You're not just recording what you do. You're studying how you feel, what energy it costs, and what results it creates. How to track your day. Wake up each morning with one goal. Observe without flinching. From the time you open your eyes until the moment you go to sleep. Pay attention to 3 things. First, what you're doing. Note every significant activity you engage in, whether it's working, resting, scrolling, cleaning, zoning out, or creating. Don't just log the obvious things. Capture even the seemingly small moments. That 5-minute scroll often becomes an hour. That quick break can turn into a cycle of avoidance. Second, the energy behind it. Ask yourself, was I intentional or automatic? Was I acting out of vision or reaction? Was this behavior centered and deliberate, or just compulsive and easy? Track whether each decision made you feel energized, drained, neutral, or numbed out. Third, what it produced. Look at the result of the action. Did it move you forward, waste time, or pull you backward? Did it generate peace, momentum, clarity, or did it breed guilt, stagnation, chaos? Every action has a cost. Every behavior has a consequence. This is where you begin to understand the return on investment of your daily decisions. What you're really looking for. Patterns, not isolated actions, not one-time slip-ups, but recurring loops. The places where your discipline collapses, where your time disappears, where your energy gets siphoned off into nothingness. You'll start to notice the hours of the day where you're most vulnerable to distraction, the habits that seem harmless but derail your focus every time, the people, platforms, and places that drain your drive, the decisions you repeat that always lead to guilt or regret, the invisible traps that keep you circling the same outcomes. Don't look away. Don't minimize it. Don't sugarcoat it, because the truth will burn, but it will also liberate. End of day reflection. Prompts. At night, sit down and reflect. Journal your answers. Speak them out loud. Let them sink in. What actions today made me feel stronger, clearer, and more powerful? What actions made me feel smaller, weaker, or ashamed? What did I repeatedly avoid today, and why? Where did I act with intention, and where did I slip into autopilot? What decision today seemed small, but had a big negative impact? Use these prompts to connect the dots. Track what's real, not what's ideal. Don't write down what you wish you had done. Write what actually happened. Your daily mantra. I observe without judgment. I measure without illusion. I face my life because I am ready to own it. Repeat that in the mirror each morning, and again before you sleep. Let it root itself in your subconscious. Let it silence the ego that whispers, lies to protect your comfort. Because if you lie to yourself now, you'll stay chained. If you face yourself now, you'll begin to cut the rope. What to expect? Emotionally. By day 2 or 3, resistance will kick in. You'll feel bored, frustrated, or embarrassed. You'll start saying, I already know this. That's your ego trying to regain control. Don't let it. Stay with the discomfort. Let it shape you. Your old self will try to survive this audit. Starve it. Because every time you avoid tracking your behavior, you're choosing ignorance over evolution. You're choosing comfort over consciousness. And comfort is a slow poison. End of week victory. If you stay consistent, if you observe without flinching, you'll have more insight into yourself in 7 days than most people gain in 7 years. You'll see where your energy is being wasted, what behaviors are silently assassinating your progress, what time of day you're most powerful, which habits must die, and which must be reborn, what decisions you must start making every single day without fail. You'll hold in your hands the blueprint of your patterns. And once you see the pattern, you can break it. This is the beginning of control. This is the beginning of truth. This is the beginning of you. Lesson 2. Audit your output. Measure the harvest. Your results don't lie. They speak the truth your ego tries to bury. The purpose. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a plan. Everyone has a dream. But dreams don't build legacies. Results do. And if you're not getting the results you want, then the system you're running is broken. It doesn't matter how noble your intentions were. It doesn't matter how hard you tried. The harvest doesn't lie. You either sowed seeds of strength or you didn't. either watered your future or you wasted it. And now, the crops are in. It's time to look at the field. No emotion, just fact. This is where most people break, because it's easy to fantasize about your potential. It's comfortable to talk about your goals, but to stare your actual output in the face, to admit that your outcomes are the mirror of your behavior, that takes courage most don't have. But you do, or you wouldn't be reading this. The shift from dreamer to analyst. This lesson forces you to drop the fantasy and pick up the ledger. You stop being the artist painting illusions and start being the architect examining foundations. Here's the question you will ask over and over again. What did my actions produce? Not what they meant to produce. Not what they should have produced. Not what I wish they produced. What did they actually bring into existence? Because the world doesn't pay you for effort. It pays you for results. How to begin the audit. Start with brutal segmentation. Break your life into 5 critical domains: physical health, energy levels, strength, nutrition, sleep, discipline, mental focus, emotional control, attention span, mindset, internal clarity, financial situation, income, savings, debt, investments, value creation, purpose in work, progress in your mission, skills, impact, consistency, relationships, depth, alignment, boundaries, communication, standards. Now ask yourself, what did the last 30 days produce in each domain? What did my decisions and behaviors create? Where is the momentum? Where is the decay? And here's the knife twist. You are not allowed to blame circumstance. You are not allowed to use trying as a metric. Only results count. The most common escape mechanism, justification. You'll hear yourself say, I worked so hard. It wasn't my fault. I meant well. Things got in the way. Burn this into your mind. Intentions are irrelevant if the results are destructive. You don't get to keep believing that a failing system is noble just because it's yours. If your actions consistently create chaos, confusion, or stagnation, they must be burned to the ground, not defended. The brutal audit exercise. Do this alone, undistracted. Step 1. Choose one category. Let's say finances. Ask, what did I build in the last 30 days? Write it down. Income, debt, savings, investments, side projects, hustle, passive gains. Step 2. Now trace the energy that went in. What did you do daily that actually moved the needle? Not what you planned, what you executed. How many hours did you pour into results? What distractions swallowed those hours? Step 3. Evaluate the trade-off. Did the energy I gave create momentum or just activity? Was it busy work or did it create something tangible and scalable? Repeat for every category. End of day micro audit. Questions. Ask these each night to keep the blade sharp. What tangible results did I create today? Did my energy today get me closer to my vision? Or was it just maintenance? If every day were like today, where would I be in 90 days? What part of my life is showing signs of consistent output? What part is still producing rot? And what am I avoiding that's keeping it that way? If you don't like the answer, good. Disgust is a powerful motivator when wielded correctly. Why this lesson changes everything. Because when you begin auditing your output, something dangerous and powerful happens. You stop lying to yourself. You stop saying things like, I'm doing my best, when your best is measured in excuses. You stop blaming the economy, the relationship, the algorithm, the parents, the past. You stop praying for miracles while planting weeds. You wake up and you realize that your life is a machine, and machines can be fixed, but only if you identify what parts are failing. The output. Paradox. You'll realize something chilling during this process. Your worst results probably came from decisions you repeated without thinking. That one drink every weekend, that 5-minute scroll every morning, that small compromise in your standards, that harmless conversation with someone who drains you, that tiny delay in execution. Small decisions, repeated relentlessly, create outcomes too massive to ignore. But there's a flip side. You don't need a miracle to turn your life around. You just need to replace those decisions, one by one, with new ones that compound in the opposite direction. You don't need new tools. You need new behavioral loops. Final words for this lesson. You are not a victim of your reality. You are the engineer of it. And every action you take is a blueprint that the universe builds upon. Right now, you're either constructing a fortress or digging a grave. Audit the harvest. Track the yield. Look at the crops. If they're rotten, plant different seeds. If they're barren, water more intentionally. If they're wild and overgrown, prune ruthlessly. Your results are your report card. Study them. Adjust the system. Reclaim control. Because when the harvest is pure, you no longer need motivation. You will be driven by proof. Lesson 3. Identify and eliminate energy leaks. Not everything deserves your energy. Not everyone deserves your access. The purpose. You've begun to track your patterns. You've audited your output. Now we dig into one of the most lethal causes of failure, exhaustion, and stagnation. Leaking energy. Not burning out from pushing hard toward your mission. No. Burning out because you've been bleeding energy into people, habits, thoughts, and distractions that never give anything back. This is spiritual theft. You're being robbed. But here's the sick truth. You've been handing the thief the key every day. The law of leaks. Whatever you do not consciously control will unconsciously drain you. There is no neutral ground. Everything in your life either feeds your momentum or feeds your destruction. And if you don't identify the leaks, they will continue to sabotage you in silence, while you wonder why nothing's working. This lesson is your battlefield assessment. And your mission is this: cut the rot, seal the cracks, guard your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Where the leaks hide. You will not always find your leaks where it's obvious. They're not just in your screen time or your bad habits. They're buried in routines that feel familiar, in conversations that seem innocent, in small yeses that come from guilt instead of purpose, in the way you talk to yourself when no one else is listening. Leaks aren't just external, they're internal too. Let's break down the 5 major categories of energy leaks. 1. People who drain but never grow. You already know who they are. The ones who call when they're in crisis, but vanish when you're in need. The ones who complain endlessly, but never change. The ones who interrupt your momentum with their drama, their distractions, and their dependency. Rule of war. If they don't challenge you, fuel you, or build with you, they don't get access to you. Cut, distance, limit, block. It doesn't make you heartless. It makes you powerful. 2. Habits that numb instead of heal. That 15-minute dopamine hit from fast food, porn, social media, gossip, or the bottle, you think it's harmless. But each time you're trading long-term clarity for short-term escape. And those little escapes become full-blown prisons. Ask yourself, is this habit helping me rise? Or is it helping me cope with staying the same? If it numbs, eliminate it. Not tomorrow. Now, third thought loops that weaken the will. Most energy leaks are silent. You won't see them, but you feel them. That voice that says, "You're not good enough. You always mess this up. Why even try?" These aren't thoughts. They're parasites. You must become the guardian of your inner dialogue. Every time you allow a toxic thought to loop uncontested, you lose ground. You must interrupt it, replace it, rewire it. You are not obligated to believe the thoughts that appear in your head. Fourth, obligations that aren't aligned. Every yes you say out of guilt is a no to your higher self. Every time you agree to show up for something that's out of sync with your vision, you fracture your energy. Your time is not charity. Your presence is not owed. Start treating your commitments like a soldier treats ammunition, precious, limited, and reserved for what matters. 5. Environments that quietly kill drive. Your surroundings speak to your subconscious more than you realize. That messy desk, that unkept room, that car full of trash, that break room full of gossip, that social media feed that trains you to envy instead of build. These places whisper, "This is what you tolerate." Change them. Upgrade them. Create an environment that reflects your rising standard. Because your environment is either shaping your greatness or sabotaging it. The assignment: perform a full energy leak purge. This purge is not comfortable. It is not quick, but it is necessary. Step 1. Sit down in silence. No distractions, no music, just you and your truth. Step 2. Ask yourself these questions and write down the answers with zero filter. Who in my life leaves me feeling weaker, not stronger? What behaviors do I keep repeating that leave me feeling empty or ashamed? What thoughts constantly play in my head that drain my courage or self-belief? What things do I do because I feel obligated, not because they serve my purpose? What places or environments feel like traps instead of temples? Step 3. Circle the top 5 leaks. These are your energy assassins. Not all at once, but starting immediately, you begin to remove, distance, or restructure your relationship with each one. End-of-day questions to cement awareness. Where did I lose energy today? And why did I allow it? What boundary did I fail to enforce today? What habit or distraction crept back in through the cracks? What can I cut tomorrow that would instantly give me more clarity and fire? Do not wait for motivation. Use frustration as fuel. Use disgust as a lever. When something drains you, destroy its access to you. Mental reframe for this lesson. My energy is not unlimited. It is sacred. If it does not build me, it does not belong near me. What you'll feel after the purge. Mental clarity. You forgot was possible. Emotional lightness from the removal of toxic weight. A rising sense of power as you realize you were never too tired. You were just too scattered. Because you don't need more energy. You need less leakage. Final words for Lesson 3. You can't build an empire while hosting parasites. You can't rise while feeding the very forces that want to keep you average. You can't serve your mission while letting your power bleed out in places you were never meant to be. Seal the leaks. Silence the noise. Guard your energy like it's the last weapon you've got. Because in this war of becoming, it is. Lesson 4. Redesign your decision-making framework. Every decision is a vote. Will you keep electing your old self? The purpose. You've tracked your patterns. You've audited your output. You've purged the energy leaks. Now comes the turning point. The moment where everything shifts, because you can't keep making the same decisions and expect different results. That's not ambition, that's insanity. The old framework, it was built by fear. It was shaped by weakness. It was governed by impulse, not vision. The old framework told you to choose comfort over confrontation, to chase instant gratification instead of long-term transformation, to make decisions in the moment that slowly destroyed the future you claim to want. And now, we destroy that framework and build a new one, on purpose. Because decisions don't just direct your life, they design your identity. The reality of decisions. Every single decision you make, no matter how small, reinforces a version of you. Skip the workout, you reinforce the quitter. Wake up on time, you reinforce the disciplined. Eat garbage out of boredom, you reinforce the comfort addict. Sit down and execute when you don't feel like it, you reinforce the champion. Most people aren't failing because they lack knowledge. They're failing because they keep voting for the old self in 1,000 micro decisions every day. It's not one big choice. It's repetition that shapes you. This lesson is about creating a system of conscious choice, a mental battlefield where every decision is evaluated, filtered, and aligned with your higher identity. The root problem: autopilot. Most of your decisions are not made in awareness. They are automatic, emotional, habitual. You don't decide what to eat. You just react to a craving. You don't decide how to spend your time. You just slide into what's easiest. You don't decide your energy. You let others dictate it. That ends here. You must become the commander of your will, not a slave to urges, not a puppet of mood, a cold, calculated strategist of the future you are building. The framework: 3 filters for every decision. Before you act, you must filter the choice through 3 questions. You do this until it becomes second nature, until decision-making becomes ritual, not reaction. Filter 1. Does this align with the person I'm becoming? You know your mission. You know your higher identity. If this action contradicts that identity, it's a betrayal. And every betrayal stacks. Ask, does this choice build my discipline or break it? Does this feed my goals or feed my fears? If the strongest version of me walked into the room, would they make this decision? If not, you already have your answer. Filter 2. What will this create in 30 days if repeated daily? Most people think in snapshots, but life isn't lived in one decision. It's lived in compounding loops. Ask yourself, if I make this same choice every day for the next 30 days, what will my life look like? Eat that trash meal today? Okay. But if you eat it 30 times, how's your energy? Skip the gym today? Okay. But if you skip 30 times, how's your strength? Choose scrolling over building today. Now imagine the wasted opportunity 30 days from now. This filter breaks the illusion of harmlessness. Small choices are never small if they repeat. Filter 3. Am I choosing from vision or from void? Void means emotional lack. It's where desperation, fear, anxiety, and fatigue live. When you choose from the void, you make decisions that soothe the pain, not serve the purpose. Choosing from vision means acting from alignment, power, and clarity, even when it's hard. Ask, am I choosing this to escape something or to build something? Am I avoiding discomfort or pursuing growth? Is this action an expression of my higher self or a negotiation with my weakness? If it's from void, abort the mission. The assignment: implement the framework ruthlessly for 7 days. Every decision you make, big or small, pause and run it through the 3 filters. It will feel unnatural at first. You will forget. But the goal is not perfection. The goal is reconstruction. Start with these moments. When you wake up, when you eat, when you choose whether to execute or procrastinate, when you're triggered, when you're tempted to quit. Each time, slow down. Ask the questions. Make the conscious choice. Then write it down. Record what decision you made and why. Mental programming. Q. Start your morning with this declaration. Today, I do not choose from emotion. Today, I act from design. My decisions are weapons. I use them with discipline, precision, and power. End your night with this reflection. What decisions did I make today that aligned with my mission? Where did I let the old self take control? And why? What must I choose differently tomorrow to stay in command? What this lesson awakens in you: a razor-sharp awareness of how fragile growth is without control. The realization that you were never powerless, just untrained. A rising sense of pride every time you act from your future, not your fear. A slow, unstoppable transformation of your identity. You won't see the effects overnight, but over time, this is what separates the average from the exceptional. Because successful people don't make better choices by accident. They install decision systems that serve their highest purpose. And that's what you're building now. Final words for Lesson 4. You are one decision away from a different life, but not once. Every day, every moment, every choice is a brushstroke, and your future is the canvas. Choose carelessly, and your masterpiece becomes a mess. Choose consciously, and your masterpiece becomes a monument. You are not here to live by default. You are here to build with fire, clarity, and precision. So stop voting for your old self. Every time you choose the weaker path, you resurrect a version of you that needs to die. Let it die, and elect the warrior, over and over, until he becomes permanent. Lesson 5. Build the architecture of the new pattern. Your future is not random. It is engineered by your rituals. The purpose. By now you've unearthed the truth. Your life wasn't failing because you lacked potential. It was failing because it lacked a pattern worth repeating. You had sparks, but no structure. Desire, but no direction. Flashes of effort, but no architecture to hold the momentum. This lesson is where that changes. This is where you stop chasing motivation and start building momentum systems, routines, rituals, and rules that carry you when your feelings don't. Because the truth is brutal. Discipline is what you fall back on when motivation dies, and it will die. But structure, if forged properly, won't. The lie. Most people swallow. They think success is about doing everything. Grinding harder, waking earlier, reading more, burning out. Wrong. Success is about doing a few essential things, every single day, without fail. It's not about being perfect. It's about being predictable in the right patterns. You are not here to be scattered. You are here to become a force, streamlined, consistent, and strategic. That only happens when you stop guessing and start designing. The architecture begins with one question. What is the non-negotiable version of me? The version that doesn't flinch. The version that does what's needed, not what's comfortable. The version that executes without apology. You must define that identity. You must see them, and then reverse engineer their daily systems until you become them. Step 1. Choose one. Domain to master. You've got many goals, but to build momentum, you must choose a single battleground to dominate first. Pick one of the following, or create your own. Physical strength. Build the body of a warrior. Mental clarity. Regain control of your thoughts. Financial power. Build and manage wealth with precision. Discipline and identity. Build unshakable daily execution. Purposeful work. Move forward with your mission. Once chosen, you will build rituals around this domain. Step 2. Design your core ritual. This is not a list of tasks. This is a vow. It's what you will do every single day, no matter what. No emotion, no excuses, no negotiations. Start with one ritual that reinforces your chosen domain. For example, physical strength? Wake at 5 a.m. and train before sunrise. Mental clarity? Begin each day with a cold shower, journaling, and no phone. Financial power? Spend 30 minutes daily studying money and tracking every dollar. Discipline and identity? Make your bed, eat clean, fast for 16 hours, execute 3 priorities. Purposeful work? Create for 90 minutes before consuming anything. The ritual must be clear, specific, and simple enough to execute, but powerful enough to compound. And it must happen no matter how you feel. Step 3. Anchor it to a time and trigger. A ritual without a structure is a wish. You must make it automatic. Choose the exact time it will happen. Choose the trigger that initiates it. Waking up, finishing coffee, turning off phone. Example: when I wake up and drink water, I do 20 push-ups, meditate, and then read for 20 minutes. No negotiation. The mind obeys structure. Give it 1. Then reinforce it daily until it becomes default. Step 4. Track relentlessly. You're no longer winging it. You're building a system. And every system must have accountability. Create a way to track the ritual. A calendar with red X's, a journal, a digital tracker, a wall with check marks you see every day. The rule is simple. Don't break the chain. 1 day missed, you're human. 2 days missed, you're slipping. 3 days missed, the old self is clawing back in. Guard the chain like it's your lifeline, because it is. Step 5. Upgrade over time. You start with one ritual, one domain, one system, but over time, you layer. Once the first ritual becomes second nature, add another, then another. Stack them like armor. Within 90 days, you won't even recognize yourself, because every brick you lay becomes structure. Every structure becomes stability, and that stability becomes a fortress of power that nothing can shake. You don't need to do everything now, but you must start with something that never dies. End of day reflection. Prompts. Ask yourself nightly, did I execute my ritual today? If not, why? What excuse did I believe? And how will I destroy it tomorrow? How did the ritual affect my energy, confidence, and momentum today? What resistance showed up? And how did I respond? Am I voting for the future I claim to want? Write it down. Stack the lessons. Tighten the structure. Mental programming. Q. Morning mantra. I am not here to guess. I am here to design. My rituals shape my reality. What I do daily becomes who I am. And who I am cannot be stopped. The truth most won't tell you. You're not stuck because you're weak. You're stuck because you're scattered. You've been pouring energy into everything instead of building one unbreakable system at a time. This lesson is your foundation. Because when life hits, and it will, you will not rise by accident. You will rise because you have a ritual that does not break. Final words for Lesson 5. If you build the pattern will build you. If you execute your ritual, even when tired, even when uninspired, you will win days, weeks, months, until the new identity is forged. Not through motivation, not through talent, but through relentless architecture. So stop drifting, start designing, and build a life that carries itself forward, whether you feel like it or not. This is your fortress. This is your war plan. Build it with fire or fall with excuses. To those who've walked with us since the beginning, the ones who've endured the fire, faced the mirror, and sharpened their will day after day, we see you. We thank you. We rise with you. You are not just viewers. You are the black sheep who refuse to kneel. You are the architects of your own resurrection. And this movement exists because you kept showing up, bloody, bruised, but unbroken. To the returning GrimFace warriors, respect, discipline, honor. You've chosen the harder road, and the future will remember your name for it. And to those who are new here, this is not just another motivational channel. This is a war cry, a sanctuary for the ruthless, a brotherhood and sisterhood of those who've had enough of mediocrity and weakness. If something inside you stirred today, if you felt the fire flicker, the resistance rise, the truth hit like a punch to the chest, don't ignore it. That was your higher self waking up. Subscribe, join us, become part of the GrimFace movement. Not just to watch, but to become, to remember who you are, and to help us build a new breed of warrior, silent, focused, unshakable. This is your call to action. Love, honor, respect. Until next time, stand tall, stay sharp, and keep marching forward into the dark, because we were forged for it.